Did it just go live? Wow, I think it just went live. I don't know how that works, but I guess it just went live, sorry. We got about 6 minutes. Yeah, I did take his toy. You guys can probably hear him. He's mad. But he was just going to keep scrunching it and squeaking it. And I literally got it to like piss Luca off, so he'd make a lot of noise, but then he's doing it to me. What fib do you use? Or just a fib retracement with these settings? 0.5, 0.71, 1 session indicator. Again, like if you guys saw, I don't know if a lot of you guys follow me, but I do have a session indicator that I just dropped myself. This is my own session indicator, Edge Matrix, and I'm actually coming out with something else. So if you guys even just click my name in my bio, go down to my bio, and you'll see it says free session indicator. If you sign up for that, one, you'll get the free session indicator, and two, it's also early access to this that I'm coming out with. So if you guys don't know, I've been talking about it for a little bit. It's a probability checklist. So what this does is, again, it basically allows you to score your overall trade based off the confluences that are there. So if I were to be looking at this trade, we can already kind of come back and look at the confluences. We did take some nice liquidity down here. Callie, hey, come over here. He's mad I took his toy. So again, we see that there's a liquidity sweep, so we can go to the settings, and obviously we can check all these off at the start. And you can see as we check them off, they'll kind of change in real time. So we have a liquidity sweep, so that's like 4. We have a break of structure. We have, oh, sorry, that was imbalance. Liquidity sweep. We have higher time frame alignment. Once we get 50 to 71% retracement, that'll be marked off because we got to wait for it. So it's overall 80% trade score. The one thing that doesn't make it 100% is the fact that there's not a lot of imbalance within this leg. Again, that's not necessary, but I do like seeing it and adding to the probabilities of my overall trade. But this is still a really good trade. But the reason I'm coming out with this is, again, like you guys can change this to anything. Like you guys can even add more confluences, like fair value gaps, and it automatically calculates your score based off if it's checked off or not. So again, like stop. He just wants his toy. I found him another one. It's not loud. Good morning, Chintan. But yeah, guys, this will be out soon. The reason I'm making it, a lot of it's to help my students, but I've been using it for a while. I have some friends using it. Again, it's just an overall better way to help calculate, and I didn't mean to do that, is to calculate your overall probabilities. It's going to help a lot of beginners out as far as making sure that you're disciplined to that. Again, like you can have it on your screen and still be stupid and like, you know, still take bad trades, but nonetheless, again, like it's just less like, you know, it's a high probability trade, you know, it's a low probability trade if they're not all checked off. You shouldn't be taking it. Nonetheless, it's just simple. Can you try it on GJ buys? What do you mean? Like the indicator? Yeah, I mean, it works on everything. So again, like you would just go into the settings, change it to your confluences, add confluences, and then you would ultimately use your like check box right here to check each and everything off. So like with GJ, if I were to look at it, let's say hard time frame looks kind of crazy. I do think we need a pullback. So let's say we just use this here. We'll use this bearish leg here. You know, obviously hit 50%, so we know that we could take these cells down. It doesn't really have the best liquidity sweep. Nonetheless, it still took these early highs. We have imbalance. We have higher time frame alignment is expecting that pullback. So obviously, all we need is that 50% retracement, which we have. So they would all be checked off, and it'd be a 100% trade score for cells, at least based off my confluences and the things I look for. Again, this is what I look for. I may add, I may take away. Probably not. Again, these are my main things that I look for, but you can have your whole damn system here as far as everything in your checklist. For value gaps, this, that, it's fully customizable. That's one thing I made sure it was, just so, because again, like you guys may have different confluences than me. You guys may want to change it. Stop. Wow, so my buys are cooked. Not necessarily. Again, like there's still a gap on GJ. Like I was looking at it from more of a 15-minute context, but if I were to go down to the 5-minute, I could say price is probably going to still come up deeper to fill this imbalance, fill this gap. But then from a long-term standpoint, I think we will go bearish, to be honest, unless we come take this liquidity for some reason. But even then, I feel like we'll still end up flipping. So I'm not saying your buys are bad. From a lower time frame standpoint, everything may be checked off on your checklist. Like, again, that's why I'm building checklists, because like based off your own trading, it may be different. What do I think about oil? I don't trade oil. But what are prices right now? Did it go up again? Probably did, huh? Stop. Ms. Jinx, I don't have my contract sizes yet, just because I need to see how much my stop loss will be. You're just too loud with the toy. All right, but we're getting some volume here. Yeah, again, guys, if this is something that you'd be interested in having early release, it's going to be obviously giving out some more information about it. And then from there, you can also get the free indicator, which is just sessions. But I love having sessions. Again, you guys use it every single day. I'm using all this. I'll continue to use it. To even just showcase to you guys here, like, I love it. My friends love it. I think it's going to be game changing. But I'm not really liking UK 100 or DAX, guys. Cali. I'm not going to get you a toy. You're too loud with it. The one time he wants his loud toy. DAX is spiking. Again, I had a feeling. I know price is going to come fill that gap, but I feel like it's going to sweep the highs. What? I just have a feeling it's going to sweep those highs. I don't know why. And just come right back down. Hi, Nick. Can we get for value gap? What do you mean? By nephew Sam? Huh? Yeah, I'm looking for buys on NAS, but is it just ripping? Cali. He just wants to play. Playing tug of war. So buys are ripping here. Again, like, we're not in anything yet, guys, but nonetheless, it's moving in the direction we intended it to go. I just want to see within this structure here, maybe a nice little pullback before I even look for entry. But even then, we could be getting in at the highs. Again, we're already at Tokyo highs. We've been moving up for a while, but nonetheless, I think we have a lot of room to continue to move up just due to the higher time frame context. Again, the higher time frame alignment. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to play with Cali and stream at the same time. It's kind of rough. All right. Already in the trade, no Cray. So we anticipated buys, but we didn't get what we wanted off the rip. We're just waiting for ultimately that pullback into 50%. So we can validate those buys. I forgot I'm connected to the speaker. We could just see price kind of continue to trend like within here, but I'm more comfortable waiting for the deeper pullback, playing the larger trade. But again, like I said, like, I'm willing to lose some money here because we could be a little bit too early, and that's if price does want to rebalance a lot of this imbalance, or come take liquidity of these lows and then come up later in the week or tomorrow during New York to fill this gap. I think that's what will happen. It's just we kind of got to see if we're early or not. And we actually could switch our bias too. And like, what I mean by that is, obviously we're waiting for this pullback for buys, but since price is continuing to expand this range, if we get some type of structure built within here where we can then play that lower time frame pullback, into the 50% itself, then I will look for sells here. But that's if price gives us something that looks good. Stop it! Bad dog. Wow. Me and Kylie gonna be beefing. DAX is still ripping. Again, like buys do look good. The structure could have been better. We just straight shot down. No real structure was built, so this could just be a fake out to then send prices lower and to continue to overall expand this range. There's a chance of that. Obviously, depending on how we close, if we close strong above Tokyo highs, I could look for that pullback continuation type of move, but it just depends on how price closes. But if we continuously wick it, have a very strong negative reaction, I'm not going to go good with that. But we'll see how we close. I'd say same thing for UK 100, but we're not looking the best here. Not right there. We'd have to like go downstairs, maybe walk around after stream. Yeah, I shouldn't be too long. But why did your chart show a gap? Because there's a gap. Even on DX trade, there's a gap. It's just a gap in the market. Is NAS 100 and JER index? It is. You can't find it on TradingView. JER 40. Just look it up in all. You should find it in all. Even in indices, yeah. Just JER 40. I think I use forex.com. If I'm not wrong. Can't remember. How's your guys' week been so far? Come on, tell me. How's the week been so far? I know we're waiting for a trade. It's new. We're ready. I'm anticipating hopefully something on NASDAQ. But again, like I'm the type to be a little bit patient and not just be here to take a trade, guys. Like my goal in trading has always been to, like when it came to teaching, is like actually teaching. Not just coming here taking a trade. If we don't take a trade, at least we had a conversation today. At least I was able to answer some questions. Just because again, like at the end of the day, trading isn't always about taking trades. That's what you guys are in here for. Like, yes, you can make some money, but nonetheless, I don't have high hopes in you long term. I'm not even trying to sound like a dick. But the people who are actually locked in on just learning and understanding that, again, learning the processes, the true processes of trading, being patient, being disciplined. You don't need to trade every day. Shit, you can take 2 trades a week and still make a shit ton of money. It's just about understanding the game. And if you're here, great, you're learning. How was my weekend? Good. It was pretty good, I can't lie. I was working a lot on this. Again, guys, like I am so very much big on this is going to help a lot of people, especially my students, or a lot of people still early in the game, even people who aren't early in the game. Just being able to kind of see your probability checklist, probabilities of your trades is really going to help my community, I feel like, get to the next level of just understanding that discipline and being consistent to good trades is very important. If you're bullshitting yourself, taking bad trades because it looks good, but it doesn't align with your confluences, you're not going to make it. Yes, I've been there, I've done that, but nonetheless, like I had to learn at some point in time that, look, it's either I make it or I don't make it. And the only way to make it is actually be disciplined, consistent, and patient. And have a plan. Always have a plan, guys. If you don't have a plan, message me. I can help you with that. Again, if you guys ever have any questions, like my DMs are always open. I answer everyone's DMs. I'll never DM you first, unless I tell you, obviously. But nonetheless, always feel free to DM me. Just click my name on the right-hand side of the screen. That's how you know it's me. There's a lot of fakes out there, so just be careful. But Tell me how your guys' weekend was. Like, come on. There's 80 of you people, guys in here. This is your chance to ask questions. Again, I'd always tell people the answers you're looking for in the question are in the questions you're not asking. And if you understand that, great. So NAS sell, no option. Let's take a look. Me personally right now, no. Potentially. So like we did have a decent low within this internal structure here. So like let's say price broke this low but somehow didn't hit 50%. I would take these sells, but the chances of that happening are very low to the point where price may just come hit 50% and I hop in buys here. I prefer pullback setups like this. Yes, we're actually playing a pullback on the 5 minute as well, going up into the hourly bearish time frame. But nonetheless, I like these a little bit more. I think they're a little bit more promising for me, just based off my data. But nonetheless, again, we need a break of this low to confirm the bearish internal structure. Because again, like price could just sell off deep within this bullish structure and then still come back up, where not waiting for that break of structure could hurt you. It's confirmation that price is now bearish internally. Again, this is our within the 1 minute time frame. From this low to this high, this is our swing structure. This is our larger move that we're playing in right now. This is the internal price action where you see these internal lows, internal highs. So we need to see those internal lows and highs being broken, or in this case, lows, again, to confirm. If that doesn't happen, I may just look for buys off the 50% here. And I know you may be thinking like, why are you looking for sells and then buys right away? Because again, if we were to get into sells, it'd only be short term. We'd be targeting the 50% because the overall bias for the day is a continuation of this of this bullish move to overall facilitate the pullback or fill this gap from a larger time frame standpoint. So let's see where this is at. It's a gnarly gap. Okay, I actually like that. I like this previous hourly candle. Very nice, strong bullish candle. It'd be nice to see price again pull back, fill this imbalance from this previous candle, and we shoot buys here. I'm comfortable taking buys. But we just have to wait for that confirmation into 50%. DAX never got the break, at least not on the 15 minute, not on the 5 minute. See, this is not a go for me. Yes, we broke these highs within here and we can definitely continue higher. But we just took a major area of liquidity. And again, like if you guys don't know, this is a session indicator. It marks the range of certain sessions for me. I only do the first 3 hours of every session just because that's where most of the volume does sit, or it does have majority of the volume is the first 3 hours. So I only care about the first 3 hours. I have years of data on this. It works. Okay, like I don't need to have the entire session because I believe London goes into New York, yeah, some overlap, yeah. And I just don't like seeing that. Granted, that's the full range, but nonetheless, just from the volume standpoint, we see that again, Tokyo had the most volume within my session indicator within that time period, and then we just had chop from there on out. So this is all that I care about. And plus, again, what's beautiful about this is even without the session indicator, we're able to tell where liquidity is actually sitting. Because again, what happened at these highs? Price just sold off. What does that mean? People had to get into sell positions to sell price off. What does price end up doing? Taking liquidity. So it comes up, takes all these people out, and then where does it go next? In some cases, it goes to another factor or another another point of liquidity, sorry, I can't talk, where again, even though this is session lows, which is just a high probability, people had to enter buys here in order to pump price up. So think about that. There's a lot of stop orders sitting down here that price is going to come purge at some point. But again, still waiting game. Nothing spectacular happening yet. 1 minute's kind of ranging out. Again, it's just Monday too. If it's I have a feeling that UK 100 and DAX will most likely be a no trade day unless we do get something really nice later on. Because I have the first 2 hours of London to trade, so I'll still be up trading. But it's just a matter of what we see. Like again, if we get a good 15-minute break here, and we get some good displacement on the 5 minute where we actually show that we're breaking this high with some good bullish momentum, I will play this 100%. But it just depends on how we break. That can tell a lot. For some reason, when I log into my new active account, launch password show the same account I breached. Do this. On your new account, click your accounts on top, and it'll open your other accounts. So just click and then open the new one. Buys do look better. Why didn't you buy it, Henry? Yo, what's up, Michael? How do you know what low to choose for a fib? So ultimately, when it comes to choosing lows or like identifying swing highs and swing lows, I like to make sure that I'm always looking to the left, because there's a difference between internal lows and swing lows. So in this case here, technically this is our lowest low before this bullish move happened. Okay, there's not a lot of structure to play off to the left. Obviously, there's a massive gap within the market, but nonetheless, if like this is where we are still playing at a little bit of risk when it comes to the buys, is price could sell off deeper and then come back higher later on. But again, when it came to identifying that, it's always the lowest low. Let me find a better example for you because of the gap there. So like in this case here, we're on the 15-minute time frame, and I always want to look to the left. So we see that price was previously bullish here. And where do we start seeing some internal lows being broken? Right here. This low was broken. We had a pullback. And then since this is our new low, we have to wait for price to break this low. It doesn't break this low until all the way over here, meaning our range expanded from this high to this low. This is our lowest low. And now we just, again, continue to follow the trend where price ended up pulling back here. It did come deep enough, and that's why we took sells, but it needed to come a little bit deeper within the overall bearish range, stayed true to that bearish range, and still ended up selling off. So at this point on, following the overall trend, this was the last high that led to a break of structure. So therefore, this is our swing high. We play it to the swing low. And at this point, we know our fibs marked up correctly within this bearish leg. This is our midpoint. This is just deeper areas within that premium pricing, and so on and so on. But identifying swing, true proper highs and lows can be difficult. Like when it comes to NASDAQ, if I'm gonna play the 1 minute here, we finally get a break from these lows here, but we had a pullback into discount where we then broke again over here. So the reason I wouldn't play this low, like the reason I didn't mark the fib up from this low to the high, is because this was just the internal chop. Where was the first initial low that finally led to the break of structure? This was a low that led to the break of structure, but nonetheless, this was still a low that had not broken structure yet. It would have been different if price broke here and then pulled back, because this one led to a break of structure. We had a pullback. This was our new low, and then obviously we'd play that. But we didn't break that structure there. We anticipated it or tried to, had another micro pullback, and then continued higher. So it's ultimately the lowest low within the overall range. That makes sense. It's a little bit difficult. Jer's not on legacy, guys. Do you trade based on if the market is bullish or bearish in the higher time frames? Again, like when it comes to my higher time frame analysis, I'm still looking at structure. So like in DAX's case, I hate when random people on Instagram call me. It actually pisses me off, dude. I need to like somehow turn that setting off. Dude, I'd be having the weirdest people like try to call me. I'm like, dude, why are you calling me? He's like, oh, am I bugging you? I'm like, ugh. So again, higher time frame context, we clearly see that price was bullish. Okay. So we know that again, when price is bullish, we're going to have these pullbacks. Okay. Obviously, we're on a higher time frame, or at least like let's say we're on the hourly identifying this. We're on the higher time frame, so we know that we can go to the lower time frame to look for some type of internal break of structure to obviously like confirm that price is now bearish and we could be facilitating that pullback now. That's exactly what we did. But since price was previously bullish and we've completed a pullback at least past the 50%, yes, price can come deeper to feel more in balance, but price can now continue within the overall swing move because we have now facilitated the pullback. It now makes more sense for banks and institutions to buy because it's now back at a discounted price rather than being at a high price. Again, that's why we will have these pullbacks. Again, the way I always think about it is price is going to be pushed into a higher price. It's going to come down. They're going to sell it off into a discounted price. They make more money selling at a higher price. Then when it gets into a discounted price, it costs less to then buy back in to push it up to a higher price. It's just a never ending just wave effect, guys. If you understand that, you're going to make money. I'm telling you right now. All my students, once they understood that, how to properly identify true swing highs and swing lows, game changer. I'm about to do an interview with 2 of my old students who are just raking in payouts right now. raking in payouts. And I can't wait for you guys to see that, just because, again, like, it's going to show you guys that, you know, like, it's really just about understanding a few core fundamentals. That's it. That's it. You don't have to complicate it. Even when it comes to like ICT, guys, like, I know a lot of you guys know ICT. When it comes to ICT traders like Chris and Mark, we still look at the same things. We still look at liquidity. We still look at overall structure. We just enter a little bit differently. I wait for a break and a pullback. They go off of a inverse fair value gap or fair value gap projection. But a lot of times our setups are within the same area or within the same idea, because we still look at price action the same way. We still understand liquidity the same way. We still understand imbalance, or in their case, fair value gaps, the same way. So when it reaches this kind of price, is it best to wait for break of structure before entering? It just depends. Like, so let's say NAS came down and hit discount. I'm going to buy here just because we have a pretty nice displacement to the upside here. We actually probably should see within the 5 minute. I almost want to play this low. See, the 1 minute structure, it would be better to play this low, but I'm glad I looked at this from the 5. Which means we could play sells here, which I'm more interested in. And what I mean by sells is, again, seeing if we can get a break of this low here and then play the pullback. But going back to your question, like on a 5 minute standpoint, so like, let's say since we're looking at this 5 minute bullish leg, if we get that pullback, it may be best to wait for some type of 1 minute structure shift to confirm that price is now reacting off of that specific area and looking to go higher. But like when it comes to the 1 minute, like let's say we do get an opportunity for sells here. Let's say price does come break this low and we look for a pullback here. I'm not going to wait for a confirmation. I'm not. I'm just going to enter at 50%, stops at the highs, TP at 50%, let it run. So I'm hoping we get that break here. It could be sells over buys. And again, it's not like I'm just jumping back and forth, guys. It's just understanding, like, I still do, and I still think buys will play out probably at the end at London going into New York. It's just a matter of, we're probably going to see that pullback before we see that continuation of buys, just because, again, like literally everything I just went over supports that, as far as the understanding of price will go to a higher price, be sold off into a cheaper price, to then be bought back up into a higher price. I know you guys, even before I started trading, I knew the term buy low, sell high. Everyone knows that term. We do have the most volume, Krish, at 12 at the open. I'd say at 1, sometimes there's some random volume that steps in, but nonetheless, like there's nothing that's really comparable to that 9:30 opening. Nothing. Yes, like with UK, like NASDAQ is primarily slower, guys. Like NASDAQ is decently slow. Just because it is New York, but we still get good volume. When it comes to UK 100, like, or DAX, like DAX had a really nice rip off that open. That opening candle, the first 5 minutes, it was only 37 points. But nonetheless, again, it's still a really good move, at least for London. That's why I trade DAX and UK 100. I still love the volume. But we're getting some movement here. I'm hoping we can get some sells. Again, the only way we're not going to take sells is if price just dumps into the 50% here, which then from there on out, I may not even hop into buys right away after identifying that within this 5 minute leg. It's more of a 5 minute leg we're playing. I want to see the confirmation of price reacting off this level and then giving me some type of 1 minute structure shift to confirm that price is now shifting back in that direction. But we'll see if we get sells. We have to break this low. And again, this aligns with all my confluences. So if we uncheck everything, so we have higher time frame alignment. We know the 5 minute needs a pullback. So we mark that off. Liquidity sweep. We took these highs. If we break this low, great. Liquidity sweep. Break a structure, we're about to get that. Beautiful. Imbalance, we do have some imbalance, so we can even check that off. 50 to 71% retracement, obviously we're going to wait for that. depending on if we get it. Again, if price just continues to dump into 50%, I'm not taking sells. I gotta wait. I have to follow my plan. If we barely miss it like that, I'm still willing to play these sells down. But I just have a feeling we're getting so much bearish volume right now. We're probably just gonna end up hitting this, guys. We may not. Again, there was a trade last week where I want to go back to it, where the same thing happened. We're gonna go find it. No, it wasn't that one. We're gonna find this shit. We're gonna find it together. Was it here? Oh my god, was it? I actually don't know. I forget. Well, it was a really good example. I just don't feel like looking at it. So sells are now invalidated. We made that whole move down. It shows that, again, sells were correct. Like I told you guys, like we're going to sell off before we buy back up. But now I need to wait for some type of buying opportunity. You could just enter at the 50% here, but the reason I don't want to, now kind of looking back at it, is one, we have room for the 1 minute to still give us some type of confirmation that we are looking to go higher. Two, again, we are still sitting within this overextended bullish leg, and we could see deeper pullback before that bullish expansion. And what's ultimately going to confirm that is, one, now that we've hit equilibrium, depending on how the 1 minute reacts, we could shoot here. Being that this is our last 1 minute internal high, technically I would have to wait for that to break, or wait for price to create some type of more internal structure to then play off of that going higher. So Trump tweet, yeah, I am trading on Legacy too. So I trade NQ on Legacy, but when it comes to DAX and UK 100, this is where I trade my live account. But I'll be on for maybe a couple more minutes, guys, just kind of talk it over, again, ask questions. The only reason I won't be sticking around is, again, I'm still expecting buys and I'm still going to be trading, guys. But again, I'm not always going to be here. I might be in my personal community, chit-chatting, but nonetheless, I'm still going to give you guys an idea. I'm not leaving yet, but I'm still going to give you guys an idea of what I'm going to be looking for or anticipating going forward. I know someone earlier asked me, what is my anticipation for the week? When it comes to DAX and UK 100, off the bat, just from a higher time frame standpoint, I do think we will push back up higher. We had a significant pullback. Unless we are just ready to overall flip this higher time frame trend, I do think we'll continue to trend higher. Because again, we can look at the hourly. We just see this perfect trend here. Break a structure, pull back, break a structure, pull back. And then hopefully, obviously, we see another expansion upwards. So going into tomorrow, I may be looking for some buys still. But when it comes to overall buys, the reason I like buys right now is because we're still within this bearish leg. We need to pull back even within this bearish leg because price still can pull back, continue further down. But nonetheless, once we finally break these highs, that's confirmation that we most likely will continue bullish. We can play the pullback of this bullish leg and continue higher. I know I talk a lot about pullback here, continuation here. This is the understanding of multi-time frame analysis. I mean, you guys need to be able to understand the context that the hourly gives you, and then break it down to each individual internal leg and also the lower time frame context, because it all aligns in some way, shape, or form, or at least can, to give you a better analysis or a better bias or a higher probability trade, you could say. That's why higher time frame alignment is on my checklist, because again, it's very important to my overall trading that I have an understanding of what the higher time frames can and will most likely do. So good thing I'm not trying my swing trades with that opening today. What on NQ? NQ pumping? Oh no. Don't tell me, guys. Did I miss him? I didn't miss shit. See, we could have entered, we could have bagged out, but nonetheless, I'm still willing to, again, let price this is a beautiful reaction. I want to see if price is going to break these highs, because then at that point, we can play the next pullback with extra confirmation that this trade should end up continuing higher into those highs. I'm willing to play that. Yes, we could have entered prematurely here, but the way I like to look at it is, in this case, we'd be up profits right now, 100%. But what if we weren't? I always think about that, because at the end of the day, it's always the trades, or I'll say that later. At the end of the day, there's always two sides of things. Because if price would have dumped, everyone would have been like, good thing we didn't enter. But the fact that it didn't, people are like, damn, I should have entered. But again, you're not always going to know that price is going to go higher. Yes, in some cases, there's a higher probability. And obviously, our checklist gave us that idea. But nonetheless, the higher probability would be waiting for that confirmational break, another pullback within that internal structure. And then from there, it's just a higher probability. Obviously, higher probability doesn't mean you're going to win. Same thing here. Just because we have a higher probability doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win. It just means we have a higher chance of actually having a winning trade. Fire 900, let's go. No way it's still running, Henry. You don't knock out right now?
No, dude.
Okay, I'll be done in like legit like 2 minutes. Maybe.
Probably like your corner.
This guy. Yeah, give me like 5 minutes. Because I have a feeling this trade's gonna play out.
Those bitches are out and about, nigga. We gotta pick them up.
Let's see the mic goes on. Did you post another one or just the ones? Oh. Oh, yeah. That's so hard. Sorry, guys. I was talking about homie. Let it ride. Yes, sir. Will Legacy accept USDT payment? Potentially. Waiting for this break, guys. Come on. Again, you should. If you entered where I initially said you could have entered, you're up a bag right now. But nonetheless, I still want to wait for my overall confirmation and see if we can get that. Hold on, guys. Oh, I don't even have my face cam on for you guys on YouTube. I'm sorry. You guys probably missed me. I got you guys. Hold on. Cali. I feel bad because like Luca's used to like Luca be going to sleep early, so his dogs used to going to sleep early, and he's just like jonesing to go to sleep right now, but he just like waits for me for some reason. But I feel bad because like again I stream late. But I'll be live for Power Hour tomorrow, guys. Again, we've been killing it in Power Hour. I can't lie. Undefeated week last week. Luca's gone, took that shit over. We ran it up. Who was there during Power Hour? Tell me. Who made some money during Power Hour last week? If you didn't, be there this week. Power Hour goated? Yes, sir. All right. So we're getting price coming down a little bit more. That's why I want the break. Again, we could still be reacting off this internal bearish structure to go lower. That's why, again, I want to wait for that break. But with that being said, guys, you guys know what I'm looking for. Again, I'm waiting for a break. Once it breaks, depending on where the range ends, I will use a fib. Let's imagine the range ends right there. It starts pulling back. I am going to enter at the 50%. Oops. I will enter at the 50%. Stops at the low. And I'll go for a 102. And at 101, I'm moving to break even. Obviously, I'm not in yet, guys, because again, like we could still expand lower. Price could be reacting off this internal bearish structure. Because again, we were initially going to go for sells here. But price had hit our point where sells were no longer valid. But just because I say they're no longer valid doesn't mean they can't still continue to play out. Because we can actually go deeper within this overall range. We can go as deep as here before we hit these lows. As long as we don't break or close beneath these lows, we're still within this bullish range. So this could just be an overall move, could have had a decent reaction to 50%, but could just be something to lead lower down into more discounted prices to then go back up. Where again, like I will just wait for the break of structure. If we get it, Great, I'll shoot. If we expand lower, what does that mean? That means we're now playing off of this high. So I'd wait for this break of structure, still have my range marked up, and enter at the 50%. But you guys have a gist of what I'm looking for. Need a break of this high. DAX UK 100, I don't think I'm going to take anything. DAX is not having a good reaction at these highs. We really just came up, not a lot of displacement. Yes, we can go higher, but I'm just going to be a little bit iffy on that. Also, again, if you guys want access to this in the future, again, I am going to make sure you guys make some money with this, just because it's going to be so good. You guys are you're gonna love it. But if you guys want early access to this and also a free session indicator, just comment sessions in the chat, and I'll make sure I send it over to you guys to get the free session indicator to help with your sessions, and then eventually the checklist that's going to help with your overall trading. So let's do this. What a great day. No trades yet, but I'm going to hop off. Obviously, I'm still going to trade for the next hour and a half, but you guys are awesome. Go use code Nick to get a discount right now. Pretty good discount on there right now. So go use that. Go get a discount. Get an account. Be ready for tomorrow's stream, Power Hour. I'll be there. With that being said, again, comment sessions if you guys want the free session indicator and all that. I'll send it over to you literally right now. Do you post somewhere if you go in my personal Discord? So if you comment sessions as well, I will send you, because like when you guys sign up for the early release, you are basically getting access to my personal Discord, and then it even gives you the session indicator. So I'll make sure to send it over to you and get you in the personal Discord where I might be calling out my trade. So that being said, I'm out here. I'll see you guys tomorrow during Power Hour and London. Later, guys.